Hey everybody, welcome back to BigRedEDC. Well, as I said here a while back, I'm trying to get more than, just knives on the channel. A few more kind of different products. And as you can see on the table, the good folks over at Bigfoot Bushcraft helped me make that happen. They contacted me a while back and asked if I'd like to check out their product. And, after checking it out, I was like, yeah, you know what? I think that would be pretty cool. I do believe I would. And this is what they sent out, which was really incredible. It was way more than I was expecting. I mean, they asked if I wanted to check out the fire plugs. I'm like, sure. Well, obviously, we do have some of the fire plugs, which we will talk about here in a minute. But as you can see, there's a lot more than just fire plugs on the table. They actually sent out a couple of these strikers, on some nice high-vis orange paracord. Those are really cool. They sent out a couple of their fire steel and striker combos. As you can see, I've been using this one a little bit. This is about a 1/2-inch ferro rod with the striker attached to it with some OD green paracord here, which is pretty darn cool as well. They sent out a couple of they call these their travel tins. So instead of taking the big bag of fire plugs, you could put some in this travel tin, put it in your backpack, or whatever the case may be. A little bit more compact way of carrying everything. They sent out a couple of those. And then, of course, they sent out a couple bags of their fire plugs. So what exactly is a fire plug? Well, it's a fire starter. As you can see there, all-weather fire starters, waterproof, windproof, 5+ minute burn. Made in Colorado. Very cool. And there you go. Gives you a little bit of idea of what to do. You can kind of pause and read if you'd like to. They kind of show you how to use them. I'll show you that here in a second. But there you go. Now, just a little bit about fire plugs. They're made in Colorado. As I said, they had a 5+ minute burn time, a 10+ year shelf life. They're waterproof, windproof. They're made of a non-toxic formula, all made in the US, like I'd said. And they're made with what they call their jet fuel wax blend. And that is a trademarked blend for a hotter, stronger flame. And I tell you what, guys, these things are pretty cool. I've been playing around with them. And, oh, trust me, we're definitely going to go out and we're going to play around with them a little bit. But that is what your fire plug looks like. Now, there's your jet fuel wax blend. And I tell you what, I definitely don't want to have a Tide Pod moment, but they actually smell pretty good as well. But no. Do not eat. That's bad. Do not eat. But that's what you do. Now, you saw on the back of the bag, they kind of tell you how to use these. First, they tell you to break it and kind of twist it back and forth to kind of break up the fibers. And then they tell you to kind of push it in on itself and twist. And you can pull it apart. Oh, there we go. And there you go. Now you've got your fibers exposed. And now, of course, you can peel back this a little bit and expose those fibers. Set it down where you want to start your fire. Break out your good old ferro rod and light these puppies up. So, I say we head outside and let's give them a shot. I've got a couple of tests set up. I've kind of decided I'm going to we're going to call it extreme conditions. And we'll see how well they perform. So let's head outside and we'll take a look, guys. All right, here we are, guys. We're out here in the outdoor testing lab. Now, I just kind of want to show you, I've got the ferro rod cleaned off. Just want to kind of show you the sparks it throws. Throws a decent amount of sparks there. Absolutely. Now everything's nice and wet. It is December in the Pacific Northwest. So, and this does have a really, really good lip on it. If you can kind of see that, you've got a really good lip for making contact with your ferro rod. So we've got our plug. We've kind of fluffed it up a little bit once we got it open, and we're gonna put it right down there on our log. I'll try to zoom in a little bit for you. All right, we make those fibers kind of accessible. Now I've got a couple over here that we're gonna test out under a little bit harsher conditions, we'll say. So, and as you can see, it still is connected with the paracord. So here we go. Now let's say it's got a 5-minute burn time, right? So lit up, one strike. So all right, I'm kind of timing it. We're gonna see how long that's gonna burn. We're gonna test that 5-minute burn time. Now as you can hear the water sizzling on the log. So very cool. Not that I'm worried about anything catching on fire since it's so wet, but you know, safety first, right? So while we're gonna let that burn, guys, we're gonna check this out. So we're kind of doing some quote unquote extreme testing. As you can see here, I've got an open fire plug and I have a completely whole fire plug. Now these things have been soaking in this water for about an hour. Really trying to test and simulate dropping it in water. You know, they say they're waterproof. Now when they're whole, they're waterproof, but what about if it's ripped open and you drop it in the water? Well, if you drop it in the water, you're probably not going to leave it there for almost an hour, but wanted to see what we got going on. So first off, what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to take our wet ones as they are. Now, you can see there, it did soak up some water. It's puffed up, it's soaked up water. So I wonder if we just do this. Okay. Now it looks like it may, we're going to fluff it up again. Whoops, sorry, get it on camera. We're going to try to pull off that wet stuff. We're going to lay that down there. We're going to pull the wet stuff off of this one and just see, like I said, guys, they've been soaking for an hour. So if that's soaked for an hour and it'll still light, imagine if you just like drop it in a puddle and pick it up real quick. So there's that. I'm going to throw that down there as well. I'm just going to throw that wet stuff in there and we'll see if it'll dry out. But all right, get my ferro rod out of my pocket here. So let's check this out. Again, this has been soaking. It was open and soaking for about an hour. We'll see. Whoops. That was me. Get over here. Oh, it's lit, guys. So that was an open one. An open one that had been soaking in water for about, like I said, almost an hour. Now I pulled away and got some of the fibers exposed. Now it went out. No, it didn't. Is it still going? It is slightly. It's still warm. So let's go back here, guys. Let's go back here where our fiber, where it wasn't open. I will peel it off. And you know, it does feel damp there, guys, I have to admit. But like I said, this is super extreme. This is taking it way too far. So there we go. We'll get that open. And we'll take the other piece and we'll do the same thing. So like I'm saying, guys, if this lights up, and it did, it lit up. It didn't stay lit because it was wet. But if this lights up after being soaked for, and like I said, almost an hour, there we go. You can pretty much imagine that just dropping it in a puddle is probably not going to do much. There you go, guys. Pretty cool. Opened up those fibers. Might take a little bit more work. As you can see, it wasn't quite as easily lit as the first one because, well, the first one, although still fairly compact, was dry. So there you go. The other one, the first one I lit, it's been going for 4 minutes and it says 5+ minute burn time. So it's doing pretty good, guys. So now, like I said, if that one lit, I have no doubt that this one's probably going to light up. It's a whole one. We're going to do our brake, go wiggle it back and forth like they tell us to do. Then we'll go in a circular motion, pull it apart. There we go. So there you go, guys. We got our fibers exposed, and I'm going to adjust my camera just a little bit so I can get this down there. Dump out our water. We don't need that anymore. So the one side's still burning. We're gonna show and my fingers are damp, guys. The log is damp. All right, there we go. Now the fibers you could expose those fibers a lot more. We're just going quick and dirty. We need to get a fire going. There you go. One strike, one light. Is it gonna go? It's burning. It's going. Now, like I said, those fibers were not exposed very well, so I could have done a little bit better. I just kind of wanted to see how we're doing. Shut the gate there real quick. It is burning though. Look, as you can see, it is burning. So now the one that was open and I exposed the fibers, it's going great. Now the other one, I think it just went out and there's actually still fibers there. We could probably pull that open a little bit more, that first fire plug, and get a little bit more out of it. But it burned for about 6 minutes as it was, you know, pretty much fully compact, and it's still smoldering. So it's not truly out yet. You can see the smoke coming off of it right here. It's smoldering still. So yeah, guys, this looks like a pretty darn good product. I'm pretty impressed with it. For that last one, like I said, it was still pretty compact. If you remember, this guy was open, broke in half, soaking for an hour in water, and look at it burn. It's still going. So you know what, guys? That's a pretty darn good product. This one was fully compact. It was compacted when I lit it, so I could have done a little bit better job getting those fibers exposed, but my fingers were wet, the log was wet, and it still lit. One strike, still burning. Yeah, that's a pretty darn good product if you ask me. All right, let's get back up to the house. Well, guys, what did you think? I took the original one out there, just the one that I'd broken apart here, you know, that I showed you earlier. Flipped up the fibers a little bit. The ferro rod threw a great spark. It's pretty much a one strike, one light. It took a spark very, very well. Then, of course, I had the other two that were kind of what I called extreme testing. I'd had them soaking in that little shot glass of water for about it's about an hour. So now the fibers that were exposed were kind of wet and they probably weren't going to take a spark, but I pulled those off and got back into the meat of things. And after I actually got it unrolled, it still took a spark really, really well. So the water didn't really penetrate into the fire starter, the fire plug, that much. Your exposed fibers got wet, but the interior were fine. Once I got it lit, once I got it opened up, it lit fine. It took a spark terrific. And then, of course, I had the solid plug that I ripped apart. Probably could have got those fibers a little bit more exposed prior to me trying to light it. But again, it lit up pretty darn well. And that first one that was just straight out of the bag, lit up, it was still smoldering at like in between that 6 and 6.5 minute mark. So definitely a 5+ minute burn time as it's advertised on the package. You know what, guys? Honestly, I would have no issue, packing up one of these little travel containers, putting in my backpack, and having that as my fire starter on a camping trip, hiking trip, whatever the case may be. I really think it would do the job very well. The log I had it sitting on was wet. I mean, it's December in the Pacific Northwest. Everything's wet and has been for 2 months now. That's just the way it is. So it's, guys, it really seems like a pretty cool product. And so you may ask, okay, what's it cost? For a bag like this, you're going to get, they call this the sample bag, and you get 30 fire starters, $9.99. They also have a medium bag, which is 80 in a package, and that's $20. And then a pack of 200 would be $40 for the pack of 200. Now, like I said, they have the ferro rod. They sell it as they sell everything as a package, guys. Everything as a package. They do have their holiday sale going on right now. If you want the ferro rod and the travel tin, you're looking at, and a pack of 30, it looks like you're looking at $34.85, down from about $10, $11 off during their holiday sale right now. So that's pretty good. That's not bad. That's a pretty fair price. So a really good product, made in the USA. That's got to be worth something. Made in Colorado, absolutely, 100%. I'm digging that aspect. Really, really cool. I really appreciate Bigfoot Bushcraft reaching out and asking me if I would like to test this product. You know, I don't have a lot of this type of stuff on the channel, but I'm really trying to get other stuff. I mean, I just did the Brynite, the flashlight. I know probably, gosh, 90 to 95% of my content is knife, but I'm really trying to get some other stuff on the channel as well. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Please let me know down in the comments if you did. What do you think of the Bigfoot Bushcraft fire plugs? Would love to hear what you think about that as well. Again, thank you very much to Bigfoot Bushcraft. Really, really appreciate the opportunity to check out your product. And you sent so much stuff along that I think some of my viewers are going to be pretty happy coming up real soon. Definitely going to be giving away some of this stuff on the channel. So thanks a lot, guys. Always appreciate you joining me. Like, subscribe, leave me that comment. You know I love talking to you. Until next time, guys. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.